During my first watch through of Star Wars Rebels, especially during and after Season 3, I often found myself asking myself, why is Lothal so different from all the other planets I've seen in Star Wars, at least in the canon? Why are there so many Force anomalies occurring on Lothal that weren't occurring elsewhere in the galaxy? Going back and rethinking Star Wars Rebels, a few anomalies come to my mind in particular: the World Between Worlds portal, the buried Jedi Temple where Ezra communes with Yoda and Palpatine, and the Lothal Wolves, which communicated with Ezra through the Force and also bringing him back to his master Kanan. Now of course, we've seen other Force occurrences such as the caves on Dagobah and other mentions in Legends, but Lothal stands out as most unique in canon based on the gifts it gives to our heroes, but also the viewers. So let's examine why this is happening on Lothal. Basically, there's a main variable which opens the floodgates on Lothal. To confirm this theory, we actually have to go back to the Thrawn novel and comic books. During the Thrawn comics, it is noted that Arindra Price, prior to becoming an officer in the Empire and political figure, is actually working at Price Mining on the planet of Lothal. During her time with the mining company, Price's business faces stiff competition from other mining corporations, one larger than her own with government backing. During the course of the comic and novel, Price is offered to be bought out, and after initially refusing, she's blackmailed and coerced into the sale. Now one thing that is critical to this theory is Dunium, the precious element that is being so heavily mined on Lothal since Lothal is Dunium rich. Now let's fast forward in the Thrawn novelization and comic. We see that Thrawn is not only trying to make himself indispensable to the Empire, but also noticing some strange oddities within the Dunium itself. Essentially, Thrawn notices the value change in Dunium, and he tasks his aide Eli Vanto, who also happens to be extremely knowledgeable in shipping, to find out why this value and change is occurring. After their investigation, Thrawn and Eli Vanto discover the Empire's biggest secret, that the Empire has started the construction of the first Death Star. So how does this tie in with Lothal and its Force sensitivity exactly? Well, I do have a theory about the Force, and that the Force is always sort of in a struggle to maintain balance, and when out of balance, it manifests itself in different ways to push towards that balance, whether it be dark or light. So even though Price Mining is out of the way, Arindra manages to actually work her way up through the Empire by befriending Thrawn, Grand Moff Tarkin, and also betraying some friends in the process. Once she finally becomes the governor of Lothal, the Dunium mining effort increases even more. So it's at this point in my theory that the Force through Lothal senses the impending balance in the Force coming about through the exploitation of Dunium resources and the misery of the local population there in an effort for the Empire to create the Death Star, something that would take the Force extremely out of balance. I'd also like to point out that the Lothal Wolves seen appearing to Ezra and friends in Star Wars Rebels are actually rare in occurrence. Part of the reason is their numbers have dwindled due to the destruction of their habitat, and they're sort of going extinct because of the mining effort. In my theory, I believe that the Force essence of Lothal begins to manifest itself in other ways. So let's go through a quick rundown of that list. On Lothal, a Force-sensitive Ezra stumbles upon a crew of rebels seeking to overthrow an empire. With the help of Kanan, they explore an old Jedi temple on Lothal, and in that temple, Ezra communes with Yoda and even at some point meets Palpatine. In the same temple, Kanan and Ahsoka go through Force premonitions, where Kanan is taken back to the Jedi Temple, and Ahsoka learns more about her former master. Later, the portal to the World Between Worlds appears on Lothal, as a way for our heroes to help set the events in motion to maintain some sort of Force balance. I think it's reasonable to theorize that this is the Force's way of not only protecting itself, but also keeping the Force from tipping out of balance and going to a point of no return. And even after the passing of Kanan, we see that Kanan is sort of reincarnated into the Lothal Wolves that appear to Ezra, offering him advice and hope in his time of need. I think that the Force is unique in Star Wars, and that it's not simply the Jedi and Sith control. In The Last Jedi, while Luke is giving Rey her first Force lesson, he specifically says that the Force does not belong to the Jedi. To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies, is vanity. He further goes into detail explaining how the Force is around them and binds them together. I hold this lesson to be factual and true, that the Force binds everything and has its own way of conducting itself. If this is certainly true, the theories could be endless for Star Wars, in some angles at least. Do you think Lothal's Force essence was activated due to the pillaging of its resources and the balance of the Force being shifted too far towards the dark? As always, it's been a pleasure making this content for you guys. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, may the Force be with you, always.